Hi everyone. My name is Lauren Kowillich. I'm a graduate student currently earning my teaching certification in secondary English education. I'm really grateful to be speaking here at this webinar because Kahoot has played a big role in shaping how I think about student engagement and building a meaningful classroom environment. So I'm just going to share my personal journey with Kahoot, starting as a student and now transitioning into an educator. Kahoot has shown me that it's really not just a digital game tool, but it really does have the power to transform classroom culture. So, why Kahoot stuck with me? It creates energy and excitement in classroom settings. It gets everyone involved and engaged, and I think it turns lessons and reviews into something fun. And I wrote a little quote over here. I felt like Kahoot was always an application, especially when I was in high school, that brought the class to life. And that's really what stuck out, not just the way it organized content, but the way it really made everyone feel included. So, my goal is really just to offer a lens on how Kahoot can support deeper connection and still keep learning fun and fresh. So why I'll use Kahoot as a teacher, it creates fun, but still has a purpose. And I think it gets students talking and thinking. It integrates technology with learning, which is really important to me as we're living in a society where technology is super apparent in everyday life. And it makes space for every student to engage. So when I think back to high school, we used Kahoot all the time. It was just something that made learning feel more alive, whether that was reviewing for a test, practicing vocabulary, or just winding down after a long week. I think Kahoot brought this collective and collaborative energy into the room. And it really did shift the classroom dynamics. So, like I said, students who normally didn't speak up became the most competitive players, and it gave everyone an equal opportunity to engage without raising their hand or worrying about being wrong or being too loud. I feel like that built in sense of safety kind of made it easier to take academic risks. And I remember feeling so proud when I would answer questions correctly and seeing my name on the leaderboard. Those moments kind of helped me believe in myself more. And now, as a future teacher, I kind of want to recreate those same feelings of belonging for my students. So that is kind of why I want to use it as a teacher. And then how I'll use Kahoot as a teacher. Something I love is that it really is so flexible and it just brings so many different avenues into the classroom. It's very inclusive and it kind of provides like the low stakes formative assessment in real time, which would give me instant feedback as a teacher on what students are understanding and what they need more support with. And then I can use Kahoot across all different parts and lessons for my classes. I like that it's not just something that I can use at the end of a lesson, but I can kind of use it during lessons just to make sure students are on track. And then, more importantly, I think it supports different types of learners, which is really important to me. Visual learners can benefit from the layout, and then students that are more auditory learners are drawn to the music and stay active and involved. There's just something powerful about the social aspect as well, the competitive aspect, students cheering each other on and kind of sharing in on the wins. And like Hannah was saying, that kind of creates a safe, supportive culture that I want in my classroom. So it's super fun and personal, and it also encourages deeper thinking and collaboration. And I'm really big on collaboration. I want my classroom to feel like a community and everyone can kind of trust and lean on each other. So that is kind of how I'll use Kahoot. And then just more from this slide, more specific ways that I plan to use Kahoot, warm-ups and bell ringers, review games, exit tickets and check-ins, vocabulary and literary devices, since I will be teaching high school ELA, and then creative Kahoots, which I'll kind of talk about more in this PowerPoint. These are all just definitely not limited, but just some ideas of how I'll use Kahoot in my classroom. And so I'm really excited for that. And then this is something that I kind of have thought about, especially while being in grad school, letting students take the lead. Since technology is such a big part of students' daily lives, I feel like they really like having access to be able to use technology in class. And some teachers aren't super cool with that, but I really want students to understand how to take technology to the next level. And so letting students kind of take the lead and make their own Kahoots, I think it will deepen understanding and critical thinking skills for their future. It builds confidence and voice, and it turns learning into leadership. So they're going to be learning the content and then also learning how to be a leader. Um, One of my favorite things is it just gives students the opportunity to create their own Kahoots, student centered, and it kind of aligns with the best practices that we study in education. They're thinking critically about the content, they're deciding what matters, what's worth testing, and how to phrase questions clearly. And I think that process will deepen their understanding, and I think they'll learn to love it because they feel like it's a challenge and they get to collaborate with other classmates. They're kind of in the teacher's shoes. So I really want to try to use this strategy, especially when I go into my student teaching next semester. Um, Maybe I could separate the class into different groups and they could create a Kahoot based on theme, chapter, character, whatever we're learning in that specific lesson. And then we could play each other's games as a whole class. And so it'll not only build content knowledge, but also make everyone closer to each other. And it's just a fun thing to do. And then there's a picture of kind of how students will be able to create these Kahoots super easy. And obviously, I would give them a tutorial on how to do it and how to make it effective before they actually create those. But I just thought that would be kind of a fun idea for students to do. And I'm excited to see how it works out. So, Kahoot across grade levels, this is something I've thought about since high school when I was a student. I've been working with different age students for 4 years all throughout college, and I've seen Kahoot be used from early childhood education to high schoolers. We used it in some of my college classes, and then obviously, I think even corporate world could use Kahoot as well. There's a little information over here on the left just about some statistics of Kahoot, but I think how you use Kahoot is the most important part. So whether it's reviewing vocab, analyzing themes, or just creating review for tests and quizzes, you can really adapt Kahoot and it's super flexible. So I think just it's great for building foundational skills, and it, regardless of age, it really does create this sense of like playfulness, like we're learning but we're having fun, and that's kind of what I like the most about it. And then this is what I'm most excited for. So, new Kahoot features I love. It's obviously changed a lot since I was in high school. I graduated high school in 2020. So, I started high school in 2016. And I was not really introduced to Kahoot until about my sophomore or junior year. I think it started getting a lot more popular and used in classroom settings. And so I had an assignment as a grad student, a teach and tell. So I had to choose an application, and Kahoot was kind of the main application that I thought of in high school that we used. And so I was just looking on, Kahoot's website, seeing what's changed, what stayed the same. And I came across so many different features that had been added, and I just thought it was the coolest thing ever. So new questions like slide and pull interactions, interactive questions, ready to use templates with AI assistance, and then you can also convert PDFs and slides into a Kahoot, which is so convenient and just easy for teachers to use. You're making PowerPoints all the time, note taking and stuff like that, and then just being able to convert those slideshows or PDFs into a Kahoot for an end of unit review or just little reviews here and there is so easy. And I just thought it was the coolest thing. And then AI assistance, obviously, AI has kind of taken over a lot of our technology the past couple years, and I'm so glad that Kahoot has integrated AI assistants into their format just because it really is a huge time saver and it generates ideas. And honestly, I think if you use AI correctly, it can really help just give complex ideas or give better instructions to students. So these are just some new features I love. I'm sure I did not list all of them, but I just thought it was the coolest thing. And yeah. And then just bringing energy into learning. I think learning should be joyful. I love to have fun with my students. Obviously, some things have to be taken seriously, but not all the time. I think every student deserves to feel seen and included, and I love that Kahoot helps students feel this way. I was super shy in high school, and I loved playing Kahoot because it was just something fun. It made everyone smile, and it made learning just really active and enjoyable. And yeah, tools like Kahoot make this possible in the classroom. So just really grateful for this opportunity and Kahoot as a whole. And I really hope that my story kind of inspired others or you took something valuable from it. So thank you guys so much. That's all I have. But if you have any questions or anything, I'll try to answer them in the chat box. But thank you guys so much.